Once upon a time, inventors in the East Midlands changed the world. Their creativity transformed an industry and started a textile revolution. My name is Maggie Adair-Pocock, and I'm a space scientist. I'm here to find out how inventors of the East Midlands are still boldly going where no one has gone before, finding new ways of using textiles that are transforming all our lives. There's the smart textile that stops you nodding off at the wheel. Wow, I don't think there's much chance of me falling asleep with that racket going on. There's the technical textile that's mending bodies so we can continue to enjoy the good things in life.
Whatever you do, don't look down.
And then there's the textile, tested by NASA, that turned the world gold.
We knew that the suit was going to be very fast, and to see the success at the end of that journey is incredible.
Has been dancing for most of his adult life. Originally from Derby, he now lives in London and is a regular at the Carablanca Club, where they take dancing, particularly the Argentine tango, very seriously.
Dancing is like breathing for me. It's hugely essential. Why does dancing matter so much?
When Tim's not teaching a novice like me, he can practice his saccadas and his volcadas. But a few years ago, he thought his dancing days were over. Tim was very badly injured in a motorbike crash, losing his left arm and shattering his collarbone.
Obviously, it had a very profound effect, losing the arm. And also, my left leg was very badly injured as well. And subsequently, the surgeons told me that there had been some discussion at the time about having to amputate my leg.
Doctors were able to save Tim's leg, but without a collarbone, his shoulder had no support. His surgeon needed something flexible to connect his collarbone to his breastbone.
We needed to create a metal strut that replaced the bone of the collarbone. That was easy to do because we were able to x-ray his normal collarbone, flip the picture of that and create a metal one which was an identical shape. But the real problem was making the collarbone stable at the inner end and the outer end. But we'd never attempted to stabilise the inner end. Now, the collarbone is connected to the breastbone, and underneath the breastbone is the heart and some very, very big arteries. So it's a really dangerous area. We call it tiger country. I knew it was the first operation of its kind that I think had been done in the world, and it was quite exciting, but terrifying.
He's been given antibiotics by our anaesthetist.
The priority was certainly about the dancing, because shoulders are hugely important in dancing, and if I was going to be able to lead a half-decent quick step, I was going to need something sorting out with the shoulder, yes.
Instead of going to medical experts, Professor Angus Wallace got in touch with a textile technologist and a designer.
I went to some colleagues who have designed with me artificial ligaments to connect the collarbone to the breastbone.
Ordinary pieces of cloth don't have the right fibre architecture to match the engineering requirements of the orthopaedic surgeon. So we could make holes for reinforcing screws, we could make holes in the fabric so tissue would ingrow. So using embroidery, which is readily customisable, is a very simple and straightforward answer.
I went to the orthopaedics department and borrowed their skeleton, and I cut out various shapes in paper corresponded to the professor's requirements and tried them for size. And I snipped away and did it several times until I got the thing correct.
What we're doing here is our technical workshops where we're looking after the machines prior to delivery.
Once the design was finished, it had to be made. The team went to Roy Burton for help. He'd spent his career in embroidered textiles, but this was a new challenge.
I would have never thought that we would be approached to consider making patches for the human body. Patches for school logos and things were every day in our industry. But to now be requested to make a patch to go inside the human body, well, that's rather daunting, intimidating, but exceedingly rewarding as well.
The holes were crucial. They meant Professor Wallace could fasten the new collarbone to Tim's body during the operation. But the holes also helped new tissue to grow. And Tim has never looked back. It's now 14 years on, and that tiny piece of embroidery is still holding Tim's collarbone in place. Professor Wallace's technique has now been used in hundreds of other operations around the world. A remarkable invention that really is improving people's lives.
Well, it certainly proved a lifesaver for me because the dancing has been tremendously important for me in my recovery and establishing a new life for myself as an amputee. And the prof himself, I've got to know rather more about since the operation, and he's an extraordinary, gifted, talented man.